What's good, y'all? It's my review to this week's episode of SAO Alicization. Oh man, this episode once again was fucking phenomenal, like always. I don't know how many times I've said fucking phenomenal at the start of these reviews. I've lost count. SAO Alicization has just been killing it as of late. It has been absolutely killing it, man. It's been so fucking good. Anyway, now actually, I'm pretty sure I meant this in my review of last week's episode. Which, in case you guys wondering, yes, I did do a react to this week's episode. Will it come out soon? Hopefully, because I've been dealing with some copyright issues the last couple of last week, I first uploaded the video, got claimed immediately, blocked worldwide, went back and edited down, put the volume, re-edited the video. All I did was just like lower the volume a little bit more, and that seemed to work. Then like a few days ago, it ended up getting blocked worldwide anyway, which sucks. I mean, I'm gonna try and see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can try and dispute it and hopefully get the video back. But we'll have to wait and see on that. So hopefully this one comes, because I kept the volume really low on my TV, and I wasn't talking that much. I mean, I was talking when, shit at the fan, obviously, and I was losing my mind. But yeah, I don't know if, hopefully it'll come out relatively soon, guys, but I don't know if I can make any promises on that one. I'll try my best to get the video out, at least for a couple days, so you guys can watch it like I did last night. If it's at least up for a couple days, get some views, and then it gets claimed, then I'm not going to be as pissed off as if, I upload it and it's immediately copyrighted. Anyway, enough of that. So let's get to the episode itself. So one thing I actually want to talk about real quick before I actually begin on the actual review itself is actually, this episode really swerved me. Like, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my review last week. I was expecting last week, and the reason I even was doing a reaction to this week's episode was because I thought we were going to get like a 4v1 thing between Cardinal, Kirito, Yujo, and Alice all teaming up against the Administrator and her little mech sword, mech build of swords things that she was rocking. We didn't get that. We didn't really get that huge. We didn't get like an epic team up moment that would rival. That would be like right up there with like the Avengers going up against Thanos. Here we didn't get that, surprisingly. Instead, this was very much more of a personal episode. A lot more on Kirito. We actually got a lot of development of Kirito. I don't even really talk that much about the development of Kirito that much in these reviews, which my man Chibi has done an excellent job talking about that. I also just haven't noticed. This is like the one time where I really noticed the development that A1 has been giving Kirito. I don't know. I think it's probably a mixture between Reki Kawahara has been just improving as a writer, because I'm sure we can all agree that Alicization is without the best arc in the series, but also because I think A1's done a better job of just overall adaptation, because there's a lot more narration here, Kirito, which there weren't that many back in season 1, which actually you can actually tell this with Joey the Anime Man, which you guys may know. Joey, one of the biggest anime YouTubers out there. I'm sure we all know that he's one of the biggest detractors of SEO, right up there with my man Jeff Fu of Mother's Basement. Yes, I watch Jeff Fu, and I also love his videos, man. It seems like everyone's starting to hate him now for whatever reason, but whatever. I wouldn't be surprised to beef on Twitter. Whatever the case may be on that, I still love the man's videos. We know those two are like the biggest detractors of SAO. He's even said this, it was like in a watch-along that they did with Crunchyroll when they rewatched the first 3 episodes of SAO, which I did watch. I watched it. I was actually rewatching SAO during that time because I was like, fuck, I love SAO. And he actually said that while he hates the anime, he really enjoys the light novel. So because narration and everything, it just gives Kirito more passion now in the light novels. From what I've heard. Anyway. So yeah, I'm early in the development, and enough of me just talking about the episode. Let's just actually get into the episode itself. So we start this episode off. Got Kirito, Yujo, whole crew. They're going up against the Administrator, Cardinals, Administrator, what's up. They kind of have their little back and forth. They're like pretty much insulting each other. She's like, oh, last time I saw you, Cardinal, you were trembling and alone. Isn't that right? She says her real name, I guess, what it is. That's what I'm assuming it is, but I can't remember what it was nor pronounce. I think it was like Lizard. I don't even remember. I'm throwing names. So she ends up just blocking up the exits out there. Pretty much puts the whole building inside this little barrier, so that nobody. So that Cardinal, I'm guessing, couldn't use her little staff to do to open and have those doors lead into the library. And so this is just until she's completely trapped. They even block off the exit, or just she even destroys the exit with a snap of her fingers. You know, we got some of that Thanos action in here. We gotta get some of that Thanos action in here. And and she also talks about that if I was just patient, tolerate these guys enough, I knew you would come out that little musty library of yours. There was this one scene that kind of had me laughing a little bit, just because of me being a big wrestling fan, is that, Cardinal tells her, I am a program that is nothing more than to delete you, yeah! Sorry, I had to put my man, Broken Matt Hardy, in there. Delete! I couldn't help but start deleting a little bit once I heard that in the reaction. So anyway. So we get there, and then she's like, Administrator, you sure you feel good about these odds? It's 4 against 1, and she's like, oh no, you're miscalculating. It's 300 against 4, not including myself. And the big giant mech or sword weapon, whatever you want to call the fucker, comes back. And she's like, and we're like, okay, what is this? What the hell's going on? She's like, why do you mean 300? And we find out that the swords or the weapons themselves are actually derived from the human subjects themselves. And Kara, when she hears it, like, aren't you the one that should be protecting subjects? Like, I wouldn't waste my time with petty matters. Like, these are the subjects that I protect. And she's like, as long as they're underneath my feet, I can use them to whatever I please. And this is a prototype, and she says, to fully put these things into mass production, and to real fully back down back down, or at least finally back up and destroy the takeover or the invasion from the Dark Territory, is most likely she's going to need half of the 80,000 population, or at least the human units inside the human realm, to at least for this little plan to work. Yes, half the population. We got Thanos up in here. We got Thanos knocked up here. She's snapping her fingers, destroying shit, and now she's like, I will take half the population in order to defeat the Dark Territory. I swear, there was somebody watching Avengers Infinity War when they were writing this. Anyway. Then Alice is like, and also, I love what the Administrator does here. First, I love the facial expression, and her voice actor, man, I love her. I love the Administrator's voice actor. She does a great job being that, that deceiving bitch, you just can't help but hate this woman for what she's done, and the facial expressions A1 gives her is perfection. I love them. They're great. They just make you hate this one. I would never say that she's probably like my favorite SAO villain, just because, she actually is, number one, a good character. She isn't just like, a one-trick pony like Suko was. Has more character and backstory than, say, my man Deathgun, which I actually ended up really liking Deathgun, but the Administrator is probably my favorite SAO villain. So much great stuff with her. Anyway, so back to where it was. And so, she says, hey Alice, does that satisfy your question earlier? I love she looked at Alice and says, hey, does that satisfy your question that you asked earlier? And so after that, then Alice asks, like, okay, since the words of as a human will not get to you, let me ask you as a master of the sacred arts. How the hell does this thing work? How the hell do these 30 swords coming together and working together? Because even if you could break the first rule about, you completely control the weapon, you couldn't break the second one, which was the connection the sword would have to its master. I swear to God, it's like Zanpakuto Togo's up in here, where the connections. I feel like at this point it's obvious Ricky Kawahara is definitely a Bleach fan, man. I think that it's obvious at this point. Anyway, so back to where it was. So that you couldn't break that rule. So how'd you do it? And she's like, "Oh, the answer is right under your nose. I'm sure Yujo's already figured it out." And I was like, "Wait, what? Why would Yujo do?" So Kirito, Alice, everyone kind of looks at Yujo. Yujo's looking up at the ceiling, and he's like, "Oh, I see that." And Kirito's like, "Yo, Yujo, what's going on, man? What the hell is this woman talking about?" And we find out that actually those little crystals, that little shine we see in the ceiling, they're actually the memory fragments from the Integral Knights that she stole. These are all the memory fragments, and that these things are the resources used to create these swords. That's pretty much also powering it as well. So, yeah, the administrator has sunken deeper lows, as Cardinal points out that you have sunken even deeper lows, even for you. And man, I was shocked when I saw that. Man, I was like, oh my god, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. I was like, man, this is holy shit, this is crazy. I did not expect that. That was crazy, man. So then, the administrator also says that that you cannot kill this thing. You cannot kill it. You want to know why? Because this thing, this puppet, is nothing but humans that have been transformed into these weapons. Yes, like as I said, this thing is being powered by humans. I guess we're a decent energy source then. Anyway. I love the administrator, and I'm really curious who they get to voice her in the English dub. A part of me would not be surprised to be like Jamie Marchi. Although I hope the people over at Aniplex are smarter than to give that woman work. Oh Lord, that woman needs to be filed for Funimation ASAP! Anyway, we ain't here to talk about Vic Mignon. Also, great news, Vic Mignon is going to be attending KamehamehaCon, which is great. That's a great thing. That means our man Vic's finally getting some traction. Although apparently there was gonna be Vic wasn't going to be allowed to come because Chris Sabat and Monica Rial said they were not gonna come if he came. I don't know if it was KamehamehaCon specifically, but I know it was a con. But thankfully, KamehamehaCon was got to their senses. They're like, no, let's invite our man Vic. Which, by the way, I still got nothing with everything that's happened. I still got nothing but respect for Monica and Chris. I mean, I'm still following both of them on Twitter and on Instagram as well. I think both of them have Instas. Anyway, I'm still following them. I still got another respect for them. Chris, I honestly don't think he's that bad of a guy. I think people have just been like over embellishing what he's done and just view him as guilty by association. Honestly. And then people are bringing up these old tweets, but then he's not. But then they're always taken out of context. People always think it's a crazy stuff, but they're going Chris whatever. But I'm not here to discuss that. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So back to the episode itself. So she's like, and then so as I say, so administrative knows that this thing's made out of humans. Essentially, have been transformed into weapons. Cardinal is shocked by this. She's like, "You're right. I can't hurt it. I have been planning for over 200 years to defeat you, a non-human, so I can't touch this thing." She ends up just throwing her staff away, just says, fuck it. And, she goes on about humans, how, that they're not just AIs, they're humans, they got, all these emotions, what more they need, you should mind control them, yada, 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 etc., etc., etc. So then Cardinal Shug comes up in there and she says, you know what? I offer you my life if you agree to let Kirito, Yujo, and Alice go scot-free. You don't touch them, they get to escape. And she's like, why would I accept this proposal? Because I can shred off half of your, because I can keep your thing at bay if I want to fight you and shred off half your health, which I'm sure would definitely do some damage to your dwindling memory, wouldn't it? And I love the way the administrator thinks. She puts her finger up to her face. It's like her cheek. I just thought that was really cool and kind of cute. I might end up using that shot in the thumbnail. I probably will, honestly. Anyway, so I just love the shot. She's like, all right, keeps the machine at bay. And she's like, and then Cardinal comes up there. She pulls out her sword, and she fires an attack on her. And, before that, she said, "I swear on the gods that I won't touch them." And she's like, "No, don't swear on no gods. Swear on the thing you value most, your Flucklight, your soul." She's like, "All right, I swear on my Flucklight I won't touch him." And so she just sits there, kind of comes up to give her a better aim, and she fires an attack on her. She's like, "Tuh, is that all you got? Come on, I have been waiting 200 years, and that will do nothing." I thought it was, and then she just starts hitting a flurry of attacks. I thought it was gonna be like The Last Jedi, where we see Luke and he's just completely cool, he just brushes his arm before coming closer to Kylo. So I love that moment from The Last Jedi, man. Last Jedi, I love that moment. I'm so high for Episode 9 too. Anyway, so as I was saying, man, that was so bad. So I was expecting that, but nah. She's like, of course I'm holding back Pipsqueak. I've waited over 200 years. You think I'm gonna end this night? You think I'm gonna end this quickly? Nah, I'm gonna make you suffer. So then she keeps firing attacks at her left and right. She keeps getting hit, gets thrown around like a rag doll and a pinball. Kirito wants to get in there. Cardinal thing, no, stay back. So he stay back, and then she keeps getting hit over and over and over again. And then she really gets hit one last time after she says, no, why don't I just finish you right now? And I was like, no, God. And, oh man, this scene was kind of heartbreaking, because I really liked Cardinal, and I didn't want to see her die, but she ends up dying anyway, which, oh man. Damn, I really liked Cardinal too. I mean, she might get brought back later. We'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, so as I was saying, Kirito, so she comes back, so then she's flying over to where Kirito now is. One of her feet gets cut, is cut off, or like comes off. So she's just sitting there, she's in Alice's arms, she's holding her hand. And they're mourning her. They're sad, and Kirito now is about crying. Yujo's kind of staring at the ceiling, and he's like, "I can't just sit here. I can't be weakling. I can't be a weakling. I need to, do something about it." So then Yujo comes up with the bright idea that for her last command, with her last breath, that she turns Yujo into a weapon, like the big, like the big sword thing is, and to defeat Cardinal and defeat the machine. Cardinal ends up agreeing to this, and so then she's like, and then Kirito's, and not Kirito, I know I keep saying Kirito. Granted, Yujo's a lot like Kirito in a lot of ways, if we're being honest. So Yujo says, system call, release, what was it? I forget that command was like. Core protection, that's what it was. She says release core protection, and so they kind of like, so then, and I really like the design they have them. Because we actually see the release core protection, as we see like his head kind of open up with like a little like box right there, and then kind of like these like, I don't know, holograms or lines or whatever that looks like some shit out of Tron or something, form around his body, going down to his hands. Him and Cardinal touch, and the Cardinal's like commands or whatever that stuff is goes into Yujo. She turns into a sword while also looking at the dove or bird that's on the ceiling. That's where Alice's memory fragment is being held at. So that thing comes down, and you're gonna see like Alice, like when she was a little girl, hologram kind of coming to Yujo. So they come together. The sword kind of and so he fuses into so they transforms into a sword. After first he kind of goes in like a crucifix kind of shape, almost like Jesus Christ over here. Watch, everyone's gonna be like, oh man, now ASAO's being obvious with the Jesus imagery or whatever. Because everyone's joking about Kirito's Jesus Kun and all that shit. Anyway, so while Yujo's trying to go to the middle transforming, as his sword is coming into him, the administrator's like, oh hell no, I ain't sitting here waiting for him to finish his transformation. I'm gonna go on the offense. So she comes over there, goes into attack our boy. Alice comes in there, uses Zenpon Zakura. I refuse to call it anything other than Zenpon Zakura, because that's what it is. It is Zenpon Zakura to me, goddammit. So she uses Zenpon Zakura to hold her back, use them defensive while Yujo finishes up the transformation. He finishes up the transformation, becomes this big ass sword that also looked really, really cool. So Yujo and the sword puppet end up having this giant CGI battle, which actually ended up looking really cool. The art animation looked pretty cool. The camera work was great. I love this fight. So they're just going at it. Yujo ends up coming out the victor when he charges towards it. Ends up growing wings too. While this is going on, right before the fight begins, the Cardinal, says release recollection, and she dies in Kirito's arms, which she's also the second woman to die in Kirito's arms, because the first one was Asuna back in season 1. I bring that up not only as a nice little fun fact, and I guess you could say also call back to season 1, but also because of what happens later on in the episode, around the end of it. So she dies in Kirito's arms, and like I said, Yujo and the sword puppet have their fight. Yujo comes coming out the victor, and I liked when Yujo stops himself. He like points to the tip of his sword to the ground, just grinds against it to stop himself before he moves on to the administrator. And she's like, "Oh, you want to fight me, boy?" And so then they face off. Yujo ends up losing this fight, but he does leave. But he does leave with something. He doesn't die in vain here, or at least for the time being. Excuse me. And she ends up taking it away, and she ends up cutting off her left arm. Managed to grab that before. Big explosion happened, and we see next time we see Yujo, his sword is cut in half. He returns back to his human form. Kirito is just in a complete utter disbelief and just looks completely defeated. Seriously, I love this facial expression here. That needs to be turned into a meme, in all honesty. So, you know, and we see him, and, you know, he's bleeding, he's cut in half, he's bleeding profusely. His sword comes down there and covers up the wounds in ice. And I like that there was an extra attention to detail where the ice was pretty much had a red tint to it. It looked pretty red, which I thought was a nice little attention to detail there from the guys over at A1. So good job on there for adding that little attention to detail there. And his sword ends up breaking, and the top part of his sword breaks off. Kirito just falls to his knees and just like complete utter disbelief, ready to just be he would probably just let the administrator kill him at this point. In fact, it looks like he almost does. So the administrator kind of is just like, and there was a shadow right on like her left side where the cup was, just like, you know, they usually do for censorship, but it wasn't even that dark like it usually is. I could still see it clear as day. I don't know, maybe it was just not to piss off the censors. So, but whatever the case may be, they do that. She gets rid of the blood, calls up her sword, calls up her hand, or cut off arm with the force. And I thought she was going to reattach it to her body, but she just turned it into a sword. And so she comes charging over towards Kirito because he's the last man standing. She's like, I'm going to kill you. Comes over to Kirito, about to strike him down. Alice ends up coming in there, ready to take the hit for him. And we get a flashback back to season 1 when the Asuna sacrificed herself for Kirito. Back in season 1, she ended up dying in his arms. And Kirito just kind of sits there being like, how many more times am I going to make the same mistake? Now that's some cool character development. I thought that was really nice. I thought that was really cool. One thing I love about this arc is that we're getting a lot of character development for Kirito. Like, you know, Kirito's finally getting development. He's starting to get more of a personality to himself, and I cannot be any more happy. I thought this is awesome. I love this part, man. This was probably my favorite part of the episode right here. So then Cardinal shows up, does your typical shonen speech of, fight, this isn't the end, do not give up, use the death of your friends to drive you, they are with you, and all that typical shonen stuff that we all know and love. And before he ends up pulling out a sword, blocking the attack, which had a green hue to it as when he blocked the administrator's attack, and I couldn't help but think about Luke Skywalker in the moment because Luke's lightsaber is green. And so brings Alice out of the way. She's like, how are you still standing? You're like, yeah, I can still keep going. Leave the rest to me. We get a nice little stare down between Kirito and the administrator, and that is when the episode ends with the ED being the OP. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little different because when Yujo extends his hand out, which we usually see the sword see a projection of the sword, here it was actually just a picture of like a sunset with Kirito and Yujo, of Kirito and Alice in there when they were kids. So I think that might have been a little different though. That's like the only major difference I didn't notice. There might have been some other ones I might have missed. Anyway, so overall, I love this week's episode of Alicization. Can't wait for next week. I'm probably going to react to next week as well because it looks like it's going to be Kirito versus the Administrator. But since it's called My Hero, I have a weird sneaking suspicion that maybe Asa is going to be a major focus of next week's episode. So I might not end up doing a reaction. I'll have to wait and see when the next episode preview drops on SCO's official Twitter account on their socials. So when that drops, I'll make up my mind then, guys. So anyway, guys, I give this week's episode of SEO Alicization a 10 out of 10, guys. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.